Was Carly about to defeat Jack? Shadow of Doubt by TGS Anime. Now, I do have to clarify, I have seen Jack all when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Not that I have anything against it. I actually had a friend in high school who very much loved Crow Hogan. Very much, huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought 5Ds, what little I saw, was honestly really good. It just came at the weird time where, like, schoolwork and stuff just kind of got in the way, and catching it got a little weird. I caught like the English premiere of like episode 1, and I caught a little bits and pieces up until like I think Rex Goodwin in the tournament. I didn't even get to Akiza, if I'm being completely honest. I know she exists. I like her design. However, that being said, wanted to make sure I'm, transparent about I know next to nothing about 5Ds, have definitely not seen the duels from 5Ds, and figured go into one of these blinds, shall we?
Jack Atlas versus Carly Carmine. Carly, now a Dark Signer, opposes Jack, determined to pull him into the darkness so he can be by her side forever. Jack, overwhelmed with guilt, wants to save Carly, even if it costs him his own life. Spoilers, Jack wins in the end due to Carly putting him into a situation where he cannot self-sacrifice to go out with her kind of thing. As well, halfway through the duel, we see Carly has guaranteed game, but chooses not to win when a look from Jack makes her heart refuse to win. So the question then becomes, if Jack Atlas was Rizless, would he have still won this duel? As well, could any changes in plays have altered the outcome of the duel? We won't know unless we jump into the Turbo Duel.
Okay, good intro. Love it.
The Turbo Duel begins and Carly goes first. She draws and her opening hand consists of Fortune Lady Light, Fortune Lady Water, Fortune Lady Earth, Enlightenment, Class Change, and Inherited Fortune.
Dude, breaking out the ulti class change. Oh, so good.
Carly starts by summoning her Fortune Lady Light into defense. Its attack and defense points become 200. A quick rundown on how Fortune Ladies work, since they're going to be popping up a lot in this duel. All Fortune Ladies share the core ability that their attack and defense are determined by their level times either 200 or 300 attack. Bigger monsters tend to have times 300, smaller ones have times 200. They all also possess the ability that their levels increase by 1 during each of their controller's standby phases.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, it is capped at level 12. I like that. That was actually my next question. Is oh my god, there's an interaction out there somewhere. I'm trying to remember if it's a synchro monster or not, but there's something about it potentially going over level 12. I literally don't remember it now, and it's making me upset because that was such a fun interaction to talk about. Someone's gonna know what I'm talking about. But I assume it's capped at level 12, even if you're like, I don't know, syncing for 17. I'm assuming the level caps at 12. But yeah, no, I remember these now from one of the DS games, either probably World Championship, probably 2009 or something. I don't remember which one. Yeah, if I remember correctly, one of them was definitely used. It might have been Earth, just because one sack. I don't know. That's a hard one. Okay, I know what these do.
After this, they all possess one unique ability to themselves. For example, Fortune Lady Light's unique ability is if she is removed from the field, she special summons a Fortune Lady from the deck. Sure. So, with all that out the way, Carly sets her Enlightenment trap face down and ends her turn. Right off the bat, should Carly have set those other traps face down? Would they have helped? Kind of. Inherited Fortune would have meant she could summon both the Fortune Ladies in her hand if Fortune Lady Light gets destroyed. The way the duel pans out, it won't be, since Jack isn't going to do anything on his next turn, so we didn't really miss out here. Class Change, on the other hand, could have messed up Jack's synchro summoning by messing with the levels of one of his monsters, or alternatively, it would have been good early setup in order to boost the attack of a Fortune Lady. Could this have been
I think it's a really interesting chart to consider, because I feel like with synchro summoning being the like premier, and I would argue focused summoning mechanic at the time, I feel the card functions. But like if you were to use it today, like this is like unless like it's a tier 1 deck, like, or it's an engine like, I don't know, like Fiendsmith, say that it's a very popular engine that just leads into like everybody synchro summoning. I don't see anything like this seeing play. Like, it's one of those cards you look at and you're like, oh, this could be useful. But then like the list of things that it's actually useful for starts really like narrowing and winding down. And like it ends up just being a really cute card that really kind of points to a specific point in the history of the game.
A handy thing to set up a little bit earlier for when a situation arises a little bit later? Well, let's see. It's Jack's turn, and he draws. His opening hand consists of Dark Resonator, Crying Ogre, Vice Dragon, Power Supplier, Shockwave, and Spell Speed half Cs. The standby phase occurs, and both players' speed counters increase by 1. If you need a refresher on Turbo Duel rules, by the way, this video is available for you here. I'll put a link down below, so if you want to check that out, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you know the rulings of Turbo Duels, okay? Okay. Jack, without
I don't remember offhand, but I'll catch on fairly quick.
doing absolutely anything, ends his turn. Now, at first glance, this looks like an absolutely insane play, and you're thinking, is he doing this because he wants Carly to win? Is he just throwing the duel? No, this is part of his strategy, even though he did have some alternate plays to do. The play he's done here, turns out, is the right play to do. He's done this insane looking play because by doing this, the Crying Ogre in his hand can act as a hand trap. So when he's attacked twice, he can special summon it to the field. Had he gone on the offensive straight away, say special summon Vice Dragon, normal summon Dark Resonator, synchro summon Red Dragon Archfiend, attack and destroy Lady Light, well, it's lucky he didn't do that because he would have lost. After destroying Lady Light with Red Dragon Archfiend, Carly could then summon her Fortune Lady Fire. Fortune Lady Fire's ability, when it is special summoned, it can destroy one card on the opponent's side of the field. It would destroy Red Dragon Archfiend, then he would have to take damage equal to the monster's attack, which would be 3,000 damage, and then Carly could attack directly on the next turn, which would have been, ooh, not great.
Actually,
alternatively, if Jack just didn't synchro and just put the materials on the field first, attack with both of them to try and do some damage, well, the same situation would have gone. Fortunately, Fire would have hit the field, destroy probably the Dark Resonator, or as Jack pronounces it, Dark Resonator. And then that would have ruined up his synchro play. He would never have had a tuner, and then that would have really ruined his day. So yeah, playing slow and steady saved Jack Atlas's life here. It's back to—
It's wild to consider. I mean, it's like if I went first as Yu-GiOh, had like, I don't know, like Spirit of Yu-GiOh in hand as like a battle, not necessarily a battle fader, right? But like to be able to drop in as kind of like a pseudo Gores, right? And just like, cool, now I'm here. Like, it's so weird to consider. Like it makes sense. The way he works through the play absolutely makes sense. It is so foreign of like to just not progress your game state the first turn. Oh, it's so strange.
Carly, and she draws Bending Destiny. The standby phase occurs, and both players' speed counters increase by 1. At the same time, Fortune Lady Light's level increases by 1. Carly tributes Fortune Lady Light to summon Fortune Lady Earth. Since Fortune Lady Light was removed from the field, its effect activates, summoning a Fortune Lady from the deck. Carly summons Fortune Lady Dark. Both monsters' attack and defense become equal to their levels times 400. Carly enters her battle phase and uses Fortune Lady Earth to attack the wide open Jack. Jack takes the first damage of the duel. Due to Jack taking over 2,000 points of damage in a single attack, he loses 2 speed counters. Carly attempts to go for game by attacking directly with Fortune Lady Dark. However, Jack activates Crying Ogre's effect in his hand. Since the declaration of a second direct attack has happened within the same turn, this monster summons itself to the field. Its attack points become equal to the previous damage, and the monster currently attacking must now attack into it.
This is why we play around Gores. Bro, people have actually made, like, they don't mean it in a malicious way, right? But people have actually been like, what, Kip, why are you playing around Gores? For this exact reason, okay? Because all you have to do is you have to attack with your big boy once, and then your opponent drops a Gores, or they drop something that actually modulates its attack to be what was last attacked. Like, oh, God. Oh. This is literally why you play around Gores.
So, with a 2,400 attack point monster, Fortune Lady Dark is forced to attack into it. Carly sets her Bending Destiny face down and ends her turn. Now, did you catch that rookie move? Attacking with the strongest monster first instead of the weakest? Clearly, you didn't live through the Gores meta.
Yep. Oh, I didn't even like actually play physical TCG, like not in competitive, but like, I mean, this thing was everywhere on some of the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship games. Like, literally, I love that he brought up the Gores. Like, oh my God. Oh, it is, I actually got chibi versions of it off of, I ordered some recently. That's Gonna just drop in some gores. I'm gonna side in gores. One of those Yu-Bell matches. People are just gonna like apply their face to the table. Why does it work? It's like Fiendsmith tracked in a dusted gold. I don't understand it.
Carly attacked the other way round, she would have kept both her monsters, destroyed Jack's crying ogre, and would have dealt even more damage. I hesitate to fault her because obviously gores isn't like a thing in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's world. However, it did exist since Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yeah.
So, really, whenever you attack an opponent directly, it is ingrained in most duelists' minds to attack the small monster first and attack with the big monster second. She should have done that. It's not her fault, but she should have. It's Jack's.
Thank you, TGS Anime, for validating me playing around gores. Because people, they do ask me why I play around gores. I'm not messing with gores. I don't think you understand.
Turn. And he draws Changing Destiny. The standby phase occurs and both players' speed counters increase by 1. Jack summons his power supplier into defense. The plan is to use its effect to increase Crying Ogre's attack by 400 so it can attack over Fortune Lady Earth. However, Carly has other plans. She activates her set counter trap, Bending Destiny. This card can negate the activation of a spell, trap, or the summon of a monster by returning it back to the hand. That card then can't be activated again that turn.
Okay.
With Power Supplier returned back to Jack's hand, he instead sets his Changing Destiny trap face down and ends his turn. Now, unfortunately, the way everything is set up, Jack is guaranteed to lose next turn. So is there anything he can do now to keep himself in the duel? Well, no. He's used his normal summon, so he can't summon his Dark Resonator to try to go for a level 7 Synchro, so that option isn't available. The speed spell he has in his hand, he can't use since his speed counters are too low. The only other option he has is to crash his monster into Carly's Lady Earth, because on Carly's next standby phase, it's going to gain 400 attack and be too strong. Would it have helped if he would have attacked into that? Unfortunately, no. Had he done this, Carly would just simply summon her Fortune Lady Water and attack directly on the next turn. This is because Jack's life points are so low, but Jack had no way of knowing that Carly has a Fortune Lady in her hand with enough attack points to go for game next turn. So it was a risk he should have taken, but regardless, he was going to lose anyway. So, oh well. I'm going to call it a misplay from Jack because, yeah, he's in a losing position and he could have put himself into a possible not losing position, even though he still would have lost. It's Carly's turn, and she draws Speed Spell Curse of Destiny. The standby phase occurs and both players' speed counters increase by 1. Fortune Lady Earth's level also increases by 1, increasing its attack by 400, but not only that, Fortune Lady Earth's unique effect activates. Whenever her level increases, she deals 400 damage. Carly moves into a battle phase and orders Lady Earth to attack and destroy Crying Ogre. Now, if you wondered why didn't she summon Fortune Lady Water to go for game here, well, she's still going for game, but she needs to not summon in order to use her trap, Inherited Fortune. Its effect is you cannot summon the turn you activate this card. Activate at the end of the damage step if a spellcaster type monster you control attacked and destroyed an opponent's monster by battle. That monster can attack again. So with a second attack, Carly attempts to go for game. The attack is successful and Jack loses the duel. As he dies, Carly converts him to a Dark Signer. With sick new threads, Carly and Jack obliterate the rest of the signers and plunge the world into darkness. Or at least, that's what could have happened if Jack lets this attack go through. Though spending the rest of his life as a Dark King with Dark Carly is tempting, it is not the true future Carly would have wanted. And so, back in the present, Jack activates his set trap, Changing Destiny.
I actually really like that it explored the alternative. Like, I actually genuinely like that. And I think that that's one of those things I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it's pretty on the nose with a lot of things. Whether that's dual monsters with very occult references, not just Seal of Orichalcos, right? But in regards to sacrifices to forge the Millennium items, the reason why the Millennium items are forged, right? To literally deter an invading force into Egypt, right? There's just some really cool stuff. GX deals with, especially in season 3, also deals with some really heavy themes. You know, Jaden just kind of ganking everybody in order to use his tributes for super polymerization, right? the nature of light and dark, the gentle darkness, the light of destruction, right? Like, I don't know. I've always liked this series, and I feel like I would genuinely really enjoy 5Ds on an actual watch through it. It is on my list. It's one of those things that it's just finding the time. To be fair, I have been catching up. I have been watching some old movies. Like I've talked about my love of L5R, right? Legend of the Five Rings, and how understanding that Big Trouble in Little China was a very big inspiration for the game. I just watched that fairly recently, and I had an amazing time. Like, that was wild to see the inspiration for like Fu Lang. That was fascinating for me.
This card can only be activated when an opponent's monster declares an attack. The attack is negated, then the opponent activates one of these effects. They can either gain life points equal to half the monster's attack, or deal damage to the opponent equal to half the monster's attack. Carly now has a choice on what destiny she wishes to come through. She almost goes for game, however after getting rizzed by Jack, she chooses not to win here, and instead gains life points.
私のライフを回復する効果を選択。
Carly manages to regain some control over herself for a moment and attempts to surrender. However, the darkness fully takes over and full power Dark Signer Carly moves in for the kill. And by the way, if it wasn't obvious, yes, Carly would have 100% won had she chose to do damage.
Right.
Jack wouldn't have been able to save himself in any way, shape, or form. So that confirms Jack would have lost this duel.
I think this is good though, because like it's characters, it's a story, right? Like, yes, we're watching a story about car games on motorcycles, right? And this is meant as a vehicle, pun intended, to sell the product, right? Hi, go buy our Yu-Gi-Oh product, go buy our tin. Remember when they actually like did the tins with little like windows in it? Dude, I miss those actually. I miss the like Destiny or Plasma and Rainbow Dragon ones. Was Rainbow Dragon one? I thought it was. Then they went with the smaller tins in GX. I miss those tins actually. Like we still get the mega tins and stuff. Anyways, I'm off base. But like, yeah, like it's a vehicle meant to sell like physical product, right? Like we understand this. It's pretty transparent, right? But like it also explores the nature like we saw in like Bakura and Bones, right? Where Bones just isn't playing optimally, right? Dude is just not as good as Bakura. I ended up watching a piece on like why Bakura is a better duelist than people give him credit for. Like his losses are against like what? Merrick? Like Atem? Yugi? Like, you know, the big powerhouses? Like he did technically get one up on Kaiba at the start of season 5, where Diabound Colonel ended up beating Blue Eyes, you know, required for Dark RPG, right? Like, he's a very skilled duelist. Like, he thinks ahead, and he has just multiple, like, strategies. Like, I think he has multiple decks, too. Like, he's really a good duelist. And then you compare that to someone like Bones, who literally is just scaring people for the easy way out to get their locator cards. And, like, yeah, Bakura just trounces Bones and co, right? Like, you run into misplays because, not because, like, the writing is bad, but because you can intuit, it's like, okay, like, Bones is clearly terrified of Bakura, right? And that's just one example, right? Duel Academy, right? Is everyone playing optimally all the time? Arguably not, right? Even if they're in Obelisk Blue, even Raw Yellow, right? Like, sure, then you get into, like, you know, Jaden ends up being, the audience insert, you know, happy-go-lucky slacker, right? Who just, you know, if he only applied himself, you know, he could do great things, right? Yeah, and then he gets locked out of fusion something and still beats Bastion Misawa, right? Like, or in a situation like this, where it's like optimally, yes, like mechanically, yeah, Jack just loses. Come on, like literally, you lose. But there's a story to be had here as well, and this kind of ties into my points in the past about how, like, yes, you can construct characters' decks for all intents and purposes, but like, it's one of those things where you look at and it's like it's more meant to tell a story, right? Like Kaiba getting out his 3 Blue Eyes, yes, mechanically makes sense because 3K beat sticks, right? But there's also the standpoint of, like, you know, it being, you know, Kaiba's oppressive play. Kaiba really wants to not deal with you specifically anymore, right? into a situation like this where it's, there is a story about Carly not actually wanting to fight and choosing to give Jack that second chance to be able to take the duel, right? And not have that foreshadowed, foresighted like future happen, right? Like the fact that yes, physical products sell consume products, be excited for next product, right? But there's also an actual story here, and misplays, not playing optimally, and even things like this where it flies completely in the face of like this is literally, you would have won the game if you didn't do this, right? It augments the story, and I think that's what I miss about like this kind of media, because there's more to be said and into it than what is actually said at face value.
She activates her speed spell, Curse of Destiny. This card can only be activated while she has 2 or more speed counters. Select one face-up monster you control and place 2 curse counters on it. Once per turn, you can remove 1 curse counter from that monster to inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack. If you do, it cannot declare an attack during that turn. She places the 2 curse counters onto Fortune Lady Earth. She is unable to use its effect since she is attacked this turn. So the plan is to
This looks like some kind of weird proto-fiendish chain.
use it next turn to go for game. However, it would have made a lot more sense just to hold on to this card in case Fortune Lady Earth gets destroyed, which is gonna be, and then like on next turn summon any monster, halve its attack as long as Jack's life points are low enough. So that was a bit wasteful to do that now. Kind of wacky. Carly ends her turn by setting Class Change and Inherited Fortune face down. It's Jack's turn, and he draws Battle Fader. The standby phase occurs, and both players' speed counters increase by 1. Now, since Carly controls a monster and Jack controls none, he can special summon his Vice Dragon. However, its attack is cut in half. Following this, he normal summons his Dark Resonator. Now, with a level 5 non-tuner and a level 3 tuner, he tunes them both together to synchro summon his very soul, Red Dragon Archfiend. For some reason, Carly immediately shotgun activates her Class Change trap now. This card increases the level of a monster on the field by 1. She chooses her Fortune Lady Earth.
So she could have done this to Dark Resonator in response to, what would it be? In response on summon, right? So normal summon, I mean, you could have even done with the Vice Dragon too, ideally, right? Summon Chainlink 1, pop Class Change, and make it so that way Red Dragon Archfiend doesn't even come out, right? You could argue maybe that Dark Signer Carly is like thinking way too narrow and not actually thinking about plays. I don't know. I'd have to see how the rest of this plays out.
It's stronger than Red Dragon Archfiend, meaning it can't attack over it now. Since its level increased by 1, Fortune Lady Earth deals 400 damage to Jack. Now, if Jack ends his turn here, he'll lose on Carly's standby phase, and Fortune Lady Earth will go up 1 more level and it'll deal 400 damage. Game. So with this in mind, now with enough speed counters, Jack activates his speed spell, Half Seize. This card can only be activated while he has 3 or more speed counters. He can now halve the attack of a monster on the field and gain life points equal to that amount. He halves Fortune Lady Earth's attack, gaining the same amount of life points in the process.
Right.
Jack enters his battle phase and attacks and destroys Fortune Lady Earth. Carly loses a speed counter since she took 1,000 damage in a single attack. Following this, since the Fortune Lady was destroyed by battle, Carly activates her set Inherited Fortune to special summon up to 2 Fortune Ladies from her hand during her next standby phase. Jack sets his Shockwave trap face down and ends his turn. Now, did Carly misplay this turn with that set trap? Yes. It made much more sense to wait for Jack to declare an attack before using Class Change. This is because if you declare the attack, use Class Change, and boost the level of the monster, get stronger, then Red Dragon Archfiend will be destroyed in the battle. But it makes a lot more sense that Jack would have regardless used the speed spell in order to halve the monster's attack, gain life points, since his life points were so low. So I do think this probably wouldn't have made a big difference. You know what would have? Had Carly used Class Change on the Dark Resonator, then that meant that he couldn't tune and make Red Dragon Archfiend, since I don't believe Jack owns any level 9 synchros. So technically he would have had nothing to synchro into, and he would have been stuck with this.
No, he just has Trish and Love Dragon of the Ice Barrier chilling in his extra deck. Yes, I am aware Trishula requires 1 tuner and 2 non-tuners. Yes, I am aware of that. Just laughing at like, well, the plot needs to move forward. Therefore, we're just gonna have this non-archetype, really powerful synchro. Buy our next hidden arsenal set, please.
Mediocre field, couldn't have done anything. But I'm not going to call it a misplay because I'm pretty sure if the plot required it, Jack could have pulled out a level 9 synchro if we had to do that. So I'm not going to call it a misplay, but it would have been a really good idea to mess with Jack's levels with his tuning.
Before this soon happens.
It was an idea. Oh, and just a reminder, don't forget to subscribe. We're getting so much closer to our 400,000 subscriber goal, and every subscription helps. So if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. It's
Bro, it boggles me that he's not at 1 million yet. Like, he puts out great content. Like TGS Anime has 100% been an inspiration on why I go and hike, like, The Rock. I missed this last week, especially because I also went out of town. But, like, yeah, like, a huge inspiration of just, like, yeah, this dude's just super legit and plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And does Yu-Gi-Oh! Things. Should get on that exercise tech. Because it'd be really cool to just be Seto Kaiba. Just jump out of helicopters and throw decks at people. It's great.
Carly's turn, and the penultimate turn of the duel. She draws and gets Fortune Lady Wind. The standby phase occurs and both players' speed counters increase by 1. Inherited Fortune's effect kicks in, allowing Carly to special summon up to 2 of her Fortune Ladies in her hand. She summons Fortune Lady Wind and Fortune Lady Water. Both gain attack equal to their levels times 300. As well, both of their unique effects kick in. Fortune Lady Water lets Carly draw a card for each Fortune Lady she controls. Since she controls 2, she draws 2 new cards. She gets Earthbound Immortal Asalapiscu and Earthbound Release.
I'm trying to remember if the Hummingbird was actually good or not. Oh, I'm physically trying to remember. I think, was it Rikocha Raska? I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Purple Bird. I'm pretty sure that one was pretty rough because it doesn't have a set attack. What is it? Lizard. Because I know they're supposed to be after the Nazca lines, right? Like, I totally get that. I'm trying to remember if any were actually competitively viable, though. Like, the Fiend one, I think Colin Kessler used that one, right? The 3,000 attack one. That's pretty spicy. I don't remember if any of these were actually, like, competitively viable, though. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into the history of the meta around this time. I don't think so. They might have been like a one-off or something. I don't think they were actually like ever in any way, shape, or form like meta relevant.
Fortunately, Fortune Lady Wind's effect destroys spells and traps equal to the number of Fortune Lady monsters she controls fails to work. However, this is correct. The way that Fortune Lady Wind's effect is worded.
Is it because you have to actually apply the full effect? And if you cannot apply the full effect, if it would say up to, that would be different. So there's actually a card that worked in the Naruto CCG like this. Let me figure out CCG 3rd Hokage S25. I talk about this every now and again because I actually really enjoyed the Naruto CCG, and I actually have 3 copies of this guy because he is actually disgusting. Let me see if I have this correct, and then I'll have him corroborate if it's what I'm thinking. Oh my god, this is not going to be easy to find. I literally find this when I don't need it. But now that I need it, I'm trying to, like, find it, and it's just not like, oh god, please, no, not like this. Set 25. I forgot Onoki came out in that set. There. We're just gonna pull this off of Google because we have access to it. But this is the 3rd Hokage from set 25, Kage Summit. One of my favorite cards in the entire game. It also plays the 3 elements that I literally play in the game. It plays fire, lightning, and water. Game mechanics not relevant. What is relevant is his effect. When this ninja is opposed, you can place a -1/-1 coin on each opposing ninja and discard 2 of your opponent's chakra. In that case, if this ninja wins any victory during this turn, you win 1 battle reward. Sorry, I had to actually squint for that. So the problem with his effect is that it is sequential and it does have to be resolved in full. Like, it has to be done in full. If your opponent has 1 chakra, you must discard 2. If you cannot discard 2, you do not get the extra battle reward effect at the end of that. So if I understand this correctly, and I'm kind of like going ahead and doing like a predict on this, because I'm just like, he's literally going to explain it in the next second, right? In the next minute. It's because she controls 2 fortune ladies and Jack only has 1 set spell or trap, right? Has 1, set card. And thus is unable to actually activate. Therefore, it is ruled in the same way as something like the 3rd Hokage from Naruto CCG Set 25 Kage Summit, where like it can't resolve because the number of cards that needs to be hit physically does not exist.
Basically, if you have 2 fortune ladies on the field, which Carly does, the opponent has to have 2 spells or traps. It can't destroy any less or any more than the amount of fortune ladies that are on the field. So,
wow, weird. It's almost like sometimes I say something slightly intelligent. No, that's a lie. Nah. You're right, chat.
Unfortunately, the effect just doesn't work.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
is
go
a shame, because if we could have destroyed that back row, it would have helped. It wouldn't have made a difference to the duel because we're about to lose next turn, but oh well. Carly tributes both her fortune ladies to summon Earthbound Immortal Asclepiscu. This monster's effects are: this card can attack directly. This card cannot be attacked by opponent's monsters. This card is unaffected by opponent's spells and traps. When this card is removed from the field, other than by its own effect, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls and inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So, with all that in mind, Carly moves into her battle phase and orders Asclepiscu to attack Jack directly, attempting to go for game. However, Jack activates the effect of his Battle Fader in hand. This card's effect allows it to special summon itself to the field when its owner is attacked directly.
I love Battle Fader. It's such a funny card.
It does, it immediately ends the battle phase. Carly sets her Earthbound release face down and ends her turn. It's Jack's turn, and the final turn of the duel. He miracle draws thanks to the help of all the signers and top deck's Majestic Dragon. The standby phase occurs and both players' speed counters increase by 1. Jack summons Majestic Dragon. He tunes it with Battle Fader and Red Dragon Archfiend in order to summon Majestic Red Dragon. Its effect is, once per turn, you can negate the effect of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and have this card gain attack equal to the negated monster's attack until the end phase. When an opponent's card or effect that would destroy this card is activated, negate the activation and destroy that card. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of this card. If this card attacks, destroy all defense position monsters on the field after damage calculation. During the end phase, return this card from the field to the extra deck and special summon 1 Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. There was a play Carly could have done here, I'll talk about it in a second, but for now, Jack activates the first effect of Majestic Red Dragon, which allows it to negate the effect of a monster and add its attack onto its own. Asclepiscu's effect is negated. Now, despite the fact Jack can go for game by simply attacking, Jack decides to end the duel in a draw so that he and Carly can be together. He plans to activate his set Shockwave Trap, which can only be activated when his life points are lower than the opponent's. He can then select 1 monster on the field, destroy it, then inflict damage to both players equal to its attack. Before Jack has the opportunity to do this, however, Carly flips up her set trap, Earthbound Release. This card can only be activated when a level 6 or higher monster is normal or special summoned to the opponent's field. Carly can now tribute her Earthbound Immortal monster to destroy all monsters the opponent controls, and then inflict damage to the opponent equal to the total attack of the destroyed monsters. Since Majestic Red Dragon's second effect is mandatory, its effect activates regardless of Jack's wishes. Since it would be destroyed by a card effect, it negates the activation of that card, destroys it, and then inflicts damage to the opponent equal to its own attack. Carly takes 6,500 damage of her own volition.
Yikes.
Jack wins the duel. Just before Carly dies, Jack embraces her for a final time. First of all, if you wondered, wait, when Asclepiuscu is sent to the graveyard, does it have the ability that it destroys all the opponent's monsters and inflicts damage for 800 or whatever it was for each one sent to the graveyard? Yes, but Majestic Red Dragon's ability is not a once per turn, so it would have negated this anyway, but they'd already lost at this point. Yeah. Second question, could Carly have turned this duel around on this final turn if she wanted to? Yes. The play that would have won the duel is by using Earthbound Release on the summon of Majestic Dragon. This would have destroyed all monsters the opponent controls and then inflicted damage to the opponent equal to the total attack of the destroyed monsters. With Red Dragon Archfiend, that's a whopping 3,000 damage at least. Carly would have won the duel. Overall, Carly actually had a lot of opportunities for victory. I think either Jack didn't get very good cards, really. I don't think he like underplayed or anything like that. I feel like, yeah,
the dude suffered the brick, yeah, kinda.
He didn't get the cards he needed to go on the offensive so early and everything. So yeah, Carly kind of dominated this entire duel. There was lots of opportunities for victory. So yeah, if Jack wasn't Jack, Carly would have won this duel. Want to watch a video on Carly's deck? We'll have a Fortune Lady video here. Or if you'd rather subscribe to the channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. We're getting close to 500,000 subscribers. Well, 400,000 first, but then 500,000. Then the world. But for now, if you subscribe, I really appreciate it. Other than that, though, thank you all for watching. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.
I honestly love this. I think that it's a really, really cool way to experience Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, because I haven't experienced Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, right? Like, I haven't. I don't have that experience. But I mean, looking at this was honestly really cool. It makes me excited to actually go through Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and kind of see what ends up happening. But yeah, I think that it also was a really good way of intertwining, you know, we're here to sell a product versus, like, you know, we're here to also tell a story while doing it. Like doing art things, right? Dare I say, scandalous, blasphemous even, I know, weird. But I honestly like this. I thought this was really cool. I still, as I said, I don't understand how he's not at easily 1 million. Like the dude puts in some good work. So I want to do what small part I can. And like, hi, go ahead and, you know, check him out. Check out TGS Anime, especially if you have not. If you're into exercise stuff as well. I hear he has a second channel. I personally haven't delved into it personally. But he also does things. So if you're looking at getting swole, getting good, man also has you covered on that front as well. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. I thought this was honestly really cool to watch. It's really cool to see some really just good Yu-Gi-Oh content on the platform. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.